tell you, I'm just clicking the wrong buttons and just lost in space. What's happening, folks? I'm like casual in my t-shirt and everything because I was not expecting to be doing a show until tomorrow. But our guest that we were going to have tonight got a little confused about the time zone difference and had a conflict in her schedule, so she couldn't make it. So here I am. Luckily, I don't know. I must have been like, had this like what they call a precognition or some psychic moment because yesterday I put a question up on the community wall, right? And it was gonna be for a show, but I didn't think I was gonna be a show like right now for a show. I thought, maybe towards the end of the month or something. But as it turned out, it was good that I did that because now I have a very, very timely responses from you, and we're gonna talk about it today. So what our topic is gonna be for February 7th is we're going to be talking about how to recognize the red warning flags of a dust mite, a dusty man, a dust mite. I think that even though we've kind of talked around this, we haven't had a show that was specifically dedicated, specifically some little bug in here, specifically dedicated to talking about the dusties in detail. Especially sharing your thoughts on it and your experiences. So what I wanted to do is provide you towards the end of the show. I'm going to ask you to share your experiences, like if you have a story, and then I'm going to put it across the screen. If you're comfortable with it, then you can call in and tell your story on the show, on the live air. I will provide you with the link in a little bit after I do this. I have a slideshow. And, I think the main thing is to remember that this entire month, even though this may be funny, there'll be some stuff that's going to have us rolling our eyes and smacking our lips and, talking trash. The bottom line is everything that we're doing this month is oriented towards positioning you to make you a winner at life. So in a situation like this, it's going to help you recognize when someone's not good for you, when they're toxic, when they are trying to game on you, when what they're talking about means that you're sacrificing too much in relation to what you're going to get out of the situation or what you think you might hope to get. These guys are really slick. They're really slick, and I think by going through these ideas that lady shared on the community wall, it will kind of give you some insight into what to look for. Okay, so let me see. They came up with a new way to do this, so I didn't do it my usual way. It's actually part of this show now. Let me see how this is gonna work. Oh, look at that! So I don't have to use it in two browsers now. Oh, so fancy, so fancy. All right, so you can see me a little bit over there as I talk trash. I wonder how I advance this. Oh, over here. Okay, here we go. So that's the topic. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button before you get up out of here. Okay, so this is what you're going to see on these slides, except for the pictures, were collected off the community wall within the last 24 hours. And women were asked, what kinds of things make a man dusty? What do you think are dusty behaviors, dusty attitudes? What kind of things do they say that are dusty? And women, you guys came through like champs. I mean, it was so much. I couldn't even put all of it because it took me 2 hours to make all these slides. I was like, oh my God, I have to stop. So let's move on and talk about, let's see what you got. So we're going to start with the things that they say. Okay, the top things that dusty men love to say to women. And like I said, we'll be offering you the opportunity later. Hey, Shay. Yeah, you can call in a little bit later after I do some of these. I'll put the link up. So top things dusty men love to say to women. Okay. This was the number one overwhelming response. Like, I don't even know how many women said this, probably about 100. What do you bring to the table? the number one most dusty saying ever in the history of mankind is this. Okay. Oh, why? I mean, I wonder who thought of that. Who thought that that was something that was an intelligent question to ask a woman? Why would you do that? See, and it's like, these dudes are reversing things. They're trying to become the girls in a relationship where they get taken care of and, pampered and petted up and supported and all this kind of stuff. They're trying to flip the script on y'all. We did talk about this. Oh yeah, they still using this heavy duty girl, and will throw it out in a minute like they're just so um so proud that they came up with this, like, like, I don't know, Aristotle-esque type, deep thought that they're going to ask you. It's just the most amazing thing. I advise women that if a guy says something like this to you, if you're out with him, to immediately get up, get your purse, get your coat, and walk out the door. If you're on the phone, hang up. If you're texting or whatever kind of communication you have with him, immediately cease it and block him. You know why? Because he's stupid. Okay, there's no reason to say this. They picked this up from other dummies, and they think that this is what you're supposed to say because they want to challenge a woman and try to make her prove, what she has to offer, and so he can pick and choose and decide if he wants to be with her or not. No, you're going to decide that all by yourself because I'm leaving. And what you're going to do also is remove me from that equation because you're too dumb for me to even consider trying to be with you. So you guys, if more women left these dudes alone when they came up with this kind of crap and a bunch of other stuff that I'm going to tell you too, which I have said in dozens of videos before, but like I said, we never had one that we only talked about dust. I did like a short, I don't know, 10 or 12-minute video, but I was the only one on it. This is, these are contributions from you, and it's the entire show. So yeah, this one won, I mean, hands down. What do you bring to the table? Oh my God. Then I'm not like everybody else. I'm an individual. Hmm. Yeah, you're special and unique just like everybody else. So it's like, dude, really? This the best you could do? You have to come up with that so you can think that you're going to slide yourself in there. I'm not ready for you to call in yet. As soon as I finish this section, then I will put the number up and you guys can comment on things that they say before we move on to the next part. So, this give us a while. We just started. Yeah, I'm an individual, they say. Notice all the zebras looking all alike. That's why I chose that picture. They all look alike. How are you supposed to tell one from another? My goodness. But that's their idea, even though they have the same joke, the same tired rap, the same tired conversation, and they all act exactly the same. It would be so marvelously wonderful to see a guy who acted like a young man these days. They all act like little bees. It's just the most horrific thing to see. These are the ones that want to talk about, I'm a man and you should respect me and all this kind of stuff. Where are you demonstrating manhood? Where are you doing that at? It's just really just embarrassing. All right, next slide. Marriage, it's only been 15 years. I need to be sure. It's just a piece of paper anyway, right? Yeah. Heard about that. Who was that? Somebody, what, Vanna or somebody sent me a link to this pastor out of LA who's been dating somebody for, like, I don't know, he's in his 70s. And he's been dating this woman for, like, I don't know, let's just say 25 years. And he finally proposed. And it was like everybody was so amazed and so happy, I guess, that they had to put it in the newspaper and it was all over the internet that he finally proposed. They're gonna be going down the aisle in hover rounds. Okay, you're too old. That makes no damn sense. 28 years, was that what it was? Oh my God, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Almost 30 years of your life with somebody as your boyfriend. I wish I would. Oh, he's 72. Okay, I thought he was gonna be 70. He's already in his 70s. Curly lady, see, you think like me. I was thinking, is he gonna make it down the aisle? You know what I mean? They gonna put him in one of them. I make jokes about them hover rounds things because I really do want one, but I don't want to have to use it. I just want it for fun because it looks like it'll be fun to be, bowling people down as you drive through downtown and stuff. Oh my God, he just, mm-mm. And she said yes. That's the part that was just so flabbergasting to me. Okay, I've had guys ask me both of these. Who you stay with? Who you stay with? You got any kids? You got a man? Do you live by yourself? I'm like, I barely know your name. What you doing trying to get all up in my residential status? And then you don't know why they asking you that. They trying to figure out how they can get up to your house and get at your kid, or they trying to get over to your house so they can case the joint. So, once they find out what your work schedule is, they gonna know that you're not at home. And then the next thing you know, you're gonna come on, your house apartment's gonna be empty. Okay. And then they want to know how much money you make. Now, one about this is they may not ask you that directly. Oh, thank you, Desiree. They may not ask you that directly. What they'll do instead is try to figure out what kind of work you do and where you do it. So they ask you where you work and then what do you do. Okay, so you can look on websites and get it, and they can even look on the website for your job. And a lot of jobs, especially California, they post the salary range for the job. And if you, as a potential employee, ask them what the salary range is for that job, under California law now, they are required to tell you. So a lot of jobs just avoid all that and they just put it in the job recruitment what the salary range is. So everybody's on the same page. So him knowing that, he can just go and look it up and see how much your general salary. So then he can decide if you make enough for him to come on over and up his ante to try to get at you or not. So that's why, it's like it's really good not to tell them that kind of stuff, ladies. Y'all be just, too much. Too much. Telling them too much. You be just meeting some random dude, especially these internet people, they don't need to know all that. I work for a telecommunications company. I work for a law firm. I work for, I don't know, whatever, but some general engineering firm, just something like that. They don't need to know exactly which one, and they don't need to know what you do. And this was a big one, right? They always complain about this. Single mothers are why the black community is destroyed. They don't value marriage. They don't want a good man. So of course I had to choose what's her name, and Ciara and Russell, because they was just really, really ragging on her too. When she, he don't want her. She don't deserve him because she a baby mama, this and that. He's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. And he went on and did his thing, and now they got, what, two more kids? Because they already had her son. Yeah, so now they got two more kids, a boy and a girl. And he ain't thinking about with them all them haters, and he's not thinking about future behind either. He got his woman. Okay. Now, this is when it gets really bad. Okay, you're having a conversation with him, right? Or you're overhearing a conversation that he's having, or you've seen some texts or some posts that he's made online. And this is how he refers to women. And they use that dreaded term, females. And the way they say it, it was with such disdain. It's awful. I mean, it just makes your skin crawl. Females, females, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And it's just such a horrible, horrible way to talk about a young lady. It's just awful. So to me, once they use that term or the other one with the H or the other one with the B, which I put asterisks in because February is supposed to be kind of PG. Um, that's a sign, ladies. Ladies, if he's talking about other women like that, you're not far behind. He's going to say the same stuff about you. And if you have a man who thinks that way about women, he's not looking at you as something to respect and admire and appreciate, but instead something to call horrible names and malign. That's no man that you want to be with. You don't want to put any stock and emotional investment in a guy like that. He's not ever going to treat you right. His mind is all messed up. You can't be anything good because you already starting off behind the wall. You're a female. You're a woman. Okay, and so there's nowhere to go from there. Okay, this is kind of, you guys, you have to think about this, and it's unfortunate because so many young, girls grew up hearing this kind of stuff because they grew up in an abusive environment, right? The father was abusive, or the mama's boyfriend, or whatever. It could be some uncles or older brothers or something. Talk to the women in their family this way, so they got used to hearing it. But ladies, I'm telling you right now, that does not make it right. That doesn't make it right. Mm-mm. You should not be being addressed like anything other than your name. I don't even like it when dudes call me baby, honey, darling, sweetie, and these other miscellaneous things they be coming up with. No, you're gonna address me by my name. That's what you're gonna do. I don't answer to anything but that. Yep. As soon as I hear these females, I'm out. That's exactly me too. I can't do it. Can't do it. It's just awful. Okay, let's move on. I've been saving this picture to use it for something, and it came in today. You black women, you don't want a good black man. You want Pookie and Ray Ray. No, we don't want Pookie and Ray Ray, and we don't want you either. That's what it is. See, to these kind of guys, there's only two kinds of men. There's either men like them, which is supposed to be the good guys at the high end. They're supposed to be these high value men, right? Or there's the dregs of society, the ex-cons, and the useless unemployed bums, Pookie, aka Ray Ray. The reality is that the majority of men fall somewhere in between. But it's like, in their minds, those men don't exist. Guy who has a good job at UPS, FedEx, the U.S. Postal Service. I don't know. Just doing, a cable installer, something like that. I mean, just a basic dude, just a hardworking dude that just got a regular job. They, in their minds, those kind of guys don't exist. They're Pookies and Ray Rays. I just don't even understand. Yeah, high value Dusty is like an oxymoron, but they don't perceive themselves to be that. That's why we're talking about it, because so many young girls, think about the young girls that write the column, and I mean, the dudes that they're involved with, even just out the gate, is a dust mite, and they just don't see it. They don't really know what to look for. They don't know the red flags warning that this guy is saying stuff or behaving in a way that means you put your brakes on and you rewind. Okay, so this section of the video is dedicated to the things that come out of their mouths. In the next section, we'll be talking about the things that they think and the things that they do. Okay, so we got this is going to be divided into two sections. Okay, this is how they're just so grossly inappropriate, and they say things to you that they have no business saying. Sometimes they say it in a text. A lot of times, they say it on the phone or they say it in person. Things that are just so inappropriate, so rude, so disrespectful, so disgusting. And it always bothers me how so many young women experience this, and you don't like hang up. You don't shut them down. You keep talking to them and you let him call you again. What, are you that desperate for attention? I mean, seriously, think about this. You got some dude talking to you all up under your clothes and talking all kind of crazy stuff to you. You don't even know this clown's middle name. Okay, you don't know nothing about him. And this is the conversation. This is a big no, 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 no. Once they show themselves to be a clown, you cut them loose. You cut them loose. They don't get the benefit of your attention and your time. They don't get to enjoy your energy and your essence. They are denied that. That's a privilege. Okay, and it should not be given to any and everybody that wants it. Because it's not like he really wants you. He just wants what he thinks he's gonna get out of you. Okay, so don't get it twisted. Some of the girls say, "Well, I'm flattered that they want him. He want me. He don't want you. You could be a watermelon, okay, like in that movie, cantaloupe or whatever it was, whatever kind of fruit that was. That's what you could be. That's about how much interest he has in you. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about you. He's only there for one thing. Okay? Understand it and stop putting yourself involved in your mind in it like you it's a flattering thing to be objectified like that. It's not. Okay? Okay, here we go with some more crazy stuff they be saying, right? We're still on the section where we're talking about what they say, all right? I'm in between jobs at the moment, so I can't really, take you out and this and that. Okay, and a lot of them will come out, even if they do have some money, they still gonna come out with this because they want to test you and see how willing you are to go in your pocket because that'll tell him that you like him more than he likes you, and then he could use you. It's a test, ladies. If a guy tells you he's between jobs at the moment, they say, well, shouldn't you be looking for a job instead of trying to date? Because you don't have no money. Dating costs money. So, I'm not the one that want to be sitting around holding your hand, doing Netflix and chilling, going for walks in the park. That ain't me. So I'll check you out when I have viable employment, my brother. Okay, and this one, my ex was crazy. Okay, what did you do to make her that way? Because if she was crazy and she wasn't on medications like headed to Napa or something, well, we say Napa in California because there's a big state mental hospital there. So by saying Napa, everybody here knows what that means. I forgot you guys are from all over. Okay, so you need to submit to me. Women are supposed to submit. No, wives are supposed to submit to husbands, and that's only if you're Christian. You walking around talking about you a hotep and ashe and all this old stuff. You have no right to be asking for nobody for no biblical submission. You tripping. You don't believe in the Bible. You over there in Hotepville. Ooh, I tell you. And then it's like, and they don't want to get married like we did showed on the other slide. They're not trying to get married to nobody. Not that you should want to marry them anyway. But 5150, that's right. They have John George out here, near Oakland, and they they'll put you in there too, but not for long. I think the maximum you can be there is 72 hours, but I'm not positive. Don't quote me. Uh, and she won't let me see my kids. How many of you fall for that? You get mad at the baby mama. You thinking that she did something. Do you know with any court, all he has to do is go and say, I want to see my kids, and he'll instant child visitation. Even if he doesn't have any money to pay child support, he still gets to see his children because the courts want the father and the children to have a relationship. So if you meet a man who's telling me that the woman won't let him see his children, he's lying and he's gaming on you to gain your sympathy so he could dip into your lingerie. Yeah, that's his purpose. Okay, because that's just BS. Nobody can keep, and if she did try it, like say he had visitation and he came to pick up the kids and she kept locked the door, whatever, he could do this 911, show the police when they come his court order, and they will make her tell her either you open this door and give him those children or you're going to get arrested. And they will put the children, he'll take the kids, and then they will lock up the house and she will get a case. That's how serious they are about it. So you got a guy who's using that excuse and you're dumb enough to fall for it. That's on you. You are getting played and you are inviting yourself for that to happen. Okay. And then you got these dudes that say they don't celebrate Valentine's or Christmas. What usually happens is those dudes right after Thanksgiving will break up with you. They'll make a fight or something. So all December and all January and all through most of February, if not the whole month of February, you'll be single, and then right around the 1st of March, he's going to come back into February, something like that. Oh, babe, let's get back together. I really missed you. Because now all the present giving holidays have passed except for your birthday. See, there's that game. Some of them do that every year. It's like clockwork. Let's move on. We're still on things that they say, okay? Any kind of sexist, demeaning, misogynistic, inconsiderate, or disrespectful comments also fall into the dusty man category. So many young women say, he said that it hurt my feelings. It was mean. It made me cry, this kind of stuff. And yet you stay with them. He puts women down. Well, women that they don't need to be trying to do that. Women aren't men. Blah, blah, blah. Get rid of him. If he says that, he's a man and he wants to be a woman, get rid of him. Because I mean, unless you swing like that, you want a heterosexual man, right? So he trying to dip off into something that's really not you. Okay, well, that makes him dusty too. I'm sorry, they're dusty just as much as everybody else. Here's some more things that Dust might say. I just need the right woman to make me a better man. What does that do? That puts a responsibility for him becoming what he imagines that he's supposed to be on you. Because then if he doesn't, materialize these things, fanciful things he thinks he's going to be, somehow it's going to be your fault. So don't fall for that. If he says anything like that to you, you're going to be mistakenly thinking this, some kind of flattering thing that he put you in this category of being oh so wonderful that you could be the one woman on this planet that makes him a better man. If you believe that, you are stupid. Stupid. Some dude tells you some stuff like that, you say, no, there's no right woman for that except your mother. And ain't nobody else trying to be your mama. So if you need some help becoming the man that you need to be, that's something you need to take up with her. Because nobody else has nothing to do with that. So you just slide right on up out of there. You don't let him put that hat on you. I'm telling you, you better find your own mama. Tisha, what's up, girl? Undust. That's a new word. Or they don't make women like they used to in my grandmama's day. Boy, you ask your grandmother how thrilled she was to be in them days, and you get the real story. I'm a good man. I go to work, I pay my bills, and I take care of my kids. Okay, you go to work, you're supposed to as an adult. That's what you should do. You should pay your bills. Well, who else should pay them? You made them. So yeah, you should pay those. And you should take care of the children that you created. That's part of the responsibility of parenting. If one does not want that responsibility, then one should keep one's, equipment in one's pants. And then that will never be an issue for you. But the fact that you did that, and then you want to get like a round of applause and a standing ovation and a cookie for it, sir, that's not going to happen. Okay, you just doing what you're supposed to do. You don't get, kudos for just doing what you're supposed to do. You get kudos for extra stuff. That ain't extra. Okay, now we're going to talk about the behaviors and the attitudes of Dusties. So what I'm going to do, if you have something that you want to share about things that Dusties have said to you, then this is where you click that link and then you can come on to the show. Okay? We'll wait a few minutes in case people do want to share. And let me see. I'll put the link in there. Here's the link. You click that. Have your headset mic on so that we can hear you nice and clearly. And you can share some stuff that Dusties have said to you. Things that you've seen Dusties, typing out online. Whatever, some personal experience that you have about Dusties. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. Glassy eyes for the win. Yes. Feminism. Oh my God. That's like kryptonite to a Dusty. You say anything about feminism and they just lose it. They go smooth crazy. Okay, so we're on stage. Right now we're dealing with things that Dusties have said. Okay, things that Dusty have said. We get into things that they do later. That's the next segment. He said you look too expensive for him. That means he admits that he's broke. You know. Oh, Dusties that complain about child support, but they're the ones making the babies. Yep. Yep. Here we go. Oh, that's definitely Dusty too. I did, Lady Hather. That's how you call in. This is an internet show. They have a link. It's not a phone. So you use your phone or you use your you use your phone or you can use your computer with a headset. Either way. Okay, let me get Miss Sincere in here.
Hello.
Oops, I'm sorry, I muted you again. So what's your story? What you gonna share with us?
So this
Oh, I guess
guy.
it would help if I put my thing on,
Oh,
huh?
okay.
Forgot I took it off. Well, everybody else could hear you, just not me.
Okay. Let
I'm
me know
so
when to
unhelpful.
talk.
Okay, here I am.
Can you hear me?
Hmm.
Okay, so this guy that I had a long time crush on back in high school, I
So
found
how
out
many
that
years are we talking? You still sound young.
I'll be 30 this month on the 26th, so
Okay.
I'm
Well, I mean, it's not like you in your 40s.
no, not yet. Um, so when he and I started talking and I told him that I had feelings for him, he told me he was getting upset with me because he wanted to have sex with me. And I had told him,
We call
I
it
only,
eggplant. We use euphemisms.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Uh, all right. So he wanted to, with me. And I told him, well, maybe only once or twice a month. And he got upset with me because he wanted unlimited access to me. And I told him, well, you don't pay any of my bills. You don't do anything for me. And he was saying that if I had feelings for him, that I should do whatever the fudge he told me to. And he would send me like angry messages because I wouldn't, lay down with him. And he would always
Wow.
apologize to me about, you know, uh, it's your fault that I yelled at you. Just do what the fudge I tell you to do. And he would block me, unblock me, block me, unblock me, block me, unblock me, on the phone, Facebook, social media, everywhere. And then after I cut him off, obviously, but I told him that he was a narcissist and that's why a good woman will never come into his life. And because of the way he is. And I told him that when I did some probing about his life, it was terrible. And now he's with some woman that's like almost 50 and she basically takes care of him. So he's a hobosexual.
Oh my God.
It was bad. Like he fit every single Dusty characteristic. He had no impulse control. He called me a stuck up, what's a good euphemism for the B word?
Oh, we just say little B.
Oh, okay. Well, he called me a stuck up little B. And the whole thing is, I told him I don't understand that, you know, if you and I have two completely different views. You're a 50-50 guy, and I believe in a man providing and taking care of me. So why don't you just go for a woman who's, you know, more in agreement and on your level? And I mean, it's not for me to understand, but I keep myself very well put together, like my hair, my makeup, and I just told him that it just wasn't going to work. And it was kind of hard for me to get rid of him because I do volunteer work and he would see me doing volunteer work, like giving out diapers and stuff. So it was a little bit difficult getting rid of that one.
Girl, but I'm so glad you did. Ooh, what a dust mite.
Yeah, it was bad. Like I don't want to take up too much more time because I know there are other people want to get up there, but um when I did some digging on him, it was bad. Like he left his ex-wife for his side chick, and the thing I didn't understand is how he was in the military. He has his barber's license. He fixed air conditionings, and he had all these credentials, but for some reason he was broke, and I just don't understand that because my current husband is a refrigeration mechanic and fixed air conditioning, and he makes excellent money.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand. I even told him, I'm like, there's no reason for you to be a Dusty
He
or
wants to be. They don't really want to work. But you're right. Let me, 'cause we got two other ladies
okay.
working, waiting.
All right.
But girl, yes, I'm glad you got rid of that idiot. All right, let's get you in here, Yellow Star. You were the next up.
Hello, Miss Deb. How are you?
Hi. So, what dusty story do you have to share with us?
I would like to share a Dusty story. I know this is normally about dating, but I just want to share the entire Dusty apparatus of my family. Um, this year, my non-Dusty grandfather is turning 70. And so my aunt and I were like, we want to do something special for him. He's always said he wanted to go to the Grand Canyon and he's never been. So I called my dad. I'm like, hey, we can make this happen for my grandpa and surprise him for his big 70th birthday. And he's like, yeah, well, why don't you, why don't you organize it and get everything together? Mind you, my dad is like about to be 50 years old. I brought it up to him to maybe think that he would take the lead in this. And he says,
Yes, this is his daddy and all.
exactly. So he says, well, something like that, I really wouldn't want to go to. He's like, I would ask the women. I'm gonna ask you or my sister because if I ask the men in the family, I know that nothing's gonna get done. Then he goes on and tells me like, yeah, I never ask the men in our family for anything. He's like, I don't care what it is. He's like, it would have to be the end of the world before I ask them to do anything. And to
Wow.
me, that was the dustiest statement I had ever heard in my entire life. And I'm like, wow, well, this makes sense. So you pretty much just said all the men in our family are useless and the women are go getters and get stuff done.
Right.
So you use us and rely on us because we'll do it. So yeah, I just want to tell you guys about that. I didn't say anything because my dad he doesn't need me to tell me he doesn't need me to tell him he's dusty. He just is. So
It's like saying that the sky is blue.
exactly. And I'll give one more quick dusty story that I touched on a little bit in the comments earlier today, but um my ex, I mean, he's my first boyfriend in high school. I'm 27 now, and I met him when I was around 15 or 16. And we quote unquote dated for like 4 years, until I got out of high school. Waste of time. But he messaged me, he wanted to reconnect for some reason over the summer. And I'm like, this is very weird. He's trying to talk to me, constantly messaging me, calling me for a week. And then all of a sudden he asked me, oh, my car got towed. Can I borrow $250 so that way I can get it out the pound? Mind you, he just told me he's been unemployed since pretty much the start of the pandemic, living off of unemployment, not trying to get a job. And he thought I would loan him $250 to get his car to impound. Absolutely not. I blocked him, and his car is still at the impound today, and it's like 7 months later.
Girl, if he even had a car.
A mess, but
I'd be like, you was riding a skateboard. It's like, get out of here.
literally, no, seriously, Dad, he literally does ride a skateboard. He's 30.
Oh my God. Girl, okay, well, you escaped something there by dipping out on that. Ugh.
Yeah, I thought I loved him more than anything in this entire universe. I am so glad.
Yeah, when you was like 16, what did you know?
Exactly. But the best decision he ever made was breaking up with me. That's
Thank
the best
you.
thing he's
I'm happy too.
ever done. Thank
Okay,
you,
thanks for
Deborah.
those stories.
No problem. Thank
Okay, Leandra, your turn.
Hi, Auntie.
What's up, chica?
How are you?
Girl, just fat and old as ever.
So, my dusty story would be a man who told me that he's waiting on Jesus to lead him so he can lead
Wait,
me.
what?
Yeah. So, this was a old boyfriend from about maybe 3 years ago. And he told me that he's super religious and Jesus needs to lead him so he can lead me.
Hmm.
Hmm.
All righty then.
Yeah, so since I am not religious, I next to him real quick. But before I did that, I asked him, well, how is Jesus going to lead you? So he says, well, Jesus is going to lead me by speaking to me. I said, well, what is Jesus saying to you? He said, well, Jesus hasn't spoken to me yet. So I was like, well, if he hasn't spoken to you yet, how is he going to tell you how to lead me? And he said, well, we have to wait on him. I said, well, I'm not waiting on you, and I'm not waiting on Jesus, and I blocked him.
Good for you.
So, yeah. So no, yeah.
They are
Anybody
seriously
who,
on one with this religion stuff because they just think every
hmm
black woman is a Bible thumper.
no, I
No.
am not. I am not.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
either. As soon as they say anything
yeah.
about God or Jesus, I'd be like, boop.
Remember the story where you said the man was praying and he said like six different prayers the way to eat.
Girl, appetite. Okay, before we sit, yeah. Oh my God. We're still friends on what you call it, LinkedIn. And I look at his
Oh,
profile every once in a while. He'll send me a note to say hi, and I'll be like, please. I could just imagine my life
oh,
with him.
that's
He was real
cute.
smart and stuff. Made a lot of money. He's an engineer, but I just could not. That's the kind of dudes I always meet. They're smart.
Mm-hmm.
They're not ugly. You know, good conversation, all stuff, but there's something majorly wrong with them to where
Mm-hmm.
we just is not gonna work. Some other woman might
Mm-hmm.
be happy with it, but it ain't gonna work with me. And that's what I
Yeah.
always meet. It's always they got some fatal flaw. And I'm like, ooh, child. Okay, well thanks,
Yeah.
Leandra. Let me get Lady Hathor in here so she can have her turn. What's up,
Mm.
girl?
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Fine.
Okay. Well, I don't know where to begin. I'm just gonna
Oh,
tell you a little bit about my ex. I can't really go into too much detail because I know I don't want to like take up all the time or whatever, but it's a lot. But I'll just tell you like a few things
okay.
that happened. He was my ex. I will call him the bottom of the barrel Dusty because that's exactly what he was. Like he was like the dustiest of the dusties.
He was
And
like king of the dusties.
yes, ma'am. Yeah, he was dusty. I'm gonna try not to cuss on here.
Yeah,
But
because we try to keep February kind of
I have a lot of remorse. I mean not a lot of remorse, excuse me, a lot of regret. I get mad at myself that I even, decided to still stay in a situation when it was all kind of signs, all kind of red flags. My family was even telling me that he was no good, he was a user, but at the time I just couldn't see it. I was young, I was naive, and like I regret it every single day. But I know it's not all his fault, because I wish I would have listened. But it was definitely a learning experience for
how
sure.
long ago was this?
I met him back in 2014, and
Okay.
I was with him from 2014 to 2018, and it was a nightmare. Like he wasn't physically abusive, but he was a dusty. He had all the dusty traits. He was broke when I first met him, to be honest. He didn't have anything going on for himself. I think he was just getting out of jail when I first met him. I met him because him and his family had moved into my neighbor's house across the street. I think they were like related to him or something because they had lost their house. He had gotten out of jail. He had no house, no car, no money, no job. And I couldn't see it back then, but I see it now. Like if a guy is trying to approach you and he really likes you and he has nothing to offer you, apparently something isn't right with that. But I couldn't see it back then. I just looked at the outside, the appearance, and saw he was attractive. And I listened to all the stuff he was saying, and I just, he was just begging me to be in a relationship, and I paid for it because like he was a user. He was a total bum. I thought I was doing the right thing by helping him, by letting him move into my house. He didn't contribute to anything. Then he gets locked up for a whole year. Then he gets out, and it was just a lot of stuff that could have easily been avoided if I would have just listened. But yeah, it's a lot. I know it's a lot. So yeah,
My goodness, girl.
yeah,
Well, you were with him for 4 years and
yeah.
then he
And I
left
was
you.
honest to him. I was honest. I never cheated on him. He told me he would never cheat, but of course, I'm sure he was a lie. I caught him in so many lies. He was very manipulative and controlling and a liar. And yeah, like he didn't contribute to anything. He was just a user, and he caused me a lot of like stress. And but he was already like that when I first met him, I believe. But
Oh, definitely. He didn't just become that way just on the strength that he
mm,
met you. But you know what they do is, girl, they look for young, naive, young ladies who are earnest and easily, fall in love with words and,
Yeah.
so they look for you. They look
Yeah.
for you.
And that's what it
So,
was. He told
don't
me. He
feel
told me
so
that I
bad
was.
because this was, I mean, short of you having run into me before that, you
Yeah.
were just ripe for the picking. There was nothing you could have done to stay away from him. And even your people trying to warn you,
Yes.
you didn't have the education yet to know that they were telling you the truth.
Right.
You
Right.
didn't know. So I want you to stop. There's a video on the channel about, forgiving yourself, not beating yourself up and all that stuff. If I remember, well, how am I going to do this? I got to do the rest of the slides. But anyway, what I'll do is I'll put it up on the community wall. That's what I'll do. So
Okay.
you can go there and then take a look at that, and it's going to kind of guide you through the process of
Yeah.
of letting go and forgiving yourself for those mistakes that you made when you was young. You
Right.
just didn't know. Okay, but now now you
Yeah.
know. So
Yes,
we
I know.
can't do that again.
Right.
Don't do that no
I
more.
definitely learned my lesson. It was a hard lesson, but at least I learned.
Okay, that's all that counts.
Okay.
Because once is a mistake, twice is a habit,
Right.
and three times I don't now know I had nothing for you. Just
Right.
so as long as you stop after one, we good. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing. You sound better, actually. I just want you to
Oh,
forgive yourself. Stop beating yourself up like that. You're just a
okay.
baby. What do you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Hugs. Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah, she sounds so sweet. I could just see her being him, just like, then there's like $6 Million Man song. You know, that little song, that little tune, that little note. Scanning her and then zeroing in like the Terminator. There's no way she was gonna get away. All right, you guys, let us proceed with the next section of the slideshow, which is the things that Dusties do. Now, the first part was things that Dusties say. Let me take these things off. I hate these things in my ear. The things that Dusties say. Now we're going to talk about the stuff that they do, their behavior, and attitudes that they project. Okay, so here we go. See, how did I put myself on here last time? Was I like this? Yes. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is something Dusty's do. Oh my goodness. And I'll be taking more of your calls after this section so you can talk about stuff that Dusty's do too, okay? Complain about women all day long. Worrying about what women are doing, what women are wearing. I've seen posts on Facebook where they were complaining that women that they were, getting busy with did not have on matching underwear. They should have a set. They were just so, like, into women's lingerie. It was just unbelievable. I mean, and criticizing it. Show me a man. This is a quote. I should have put this in quotes. This is from the comment. Show me a man that ain't got shit to do with his time, but worry about what women are doing, and I'll show you a Dusty. She was right. Dusty's are comfortable with going 50-50 financially, though he doesn't go 50-50 on household labor, child care, or emotional labor, which is required to sustain the family unit. That's stuff like, taking kids to the doctor appointments, noticing that they're sick even at all, dental appointments, stuff that, has to go to school, birthday parties, set up, buying presents, for the family members and all that kind of stuff, setting up trees. And they do it after the woman has pressured them to do it, and sometimes they don't even do it then. So, but I pulled this from one of the DNN shows because it was so perfect about Dusty's going 50-50. And he said, I don't even want my girl to know we got bills and y'all be talking 50-50. I'm like, yes, my young brother, tell it. JB, J7I3, he knows what's going on. He treats his girl well. See, that's how it's supposed to be. You have her all stressed out like that. Dusties think that they are the prize and that women are supposed to pursue them and initiate everything. Dates, calls, intimacy, etc. They want you to pick them up and they want you to drive them around as well, like they're driving Miss Daisy. They want to sit in the passenger seat and be chauffeured around. It's unbelievable. I've never seen men like these alleged men that are out here today. They are just a trip. And you ladies, come on now, y'all just step in and you just do everything for them like they're kids. You need to stop doing that. If a guy doesn't, okay, he says, well, my car's in the shop right now. Well, what you gonna do to take us on a date? What you talking about? Well, can you drive? Nope, I sure can't. That's not my job. My job is to go to the hairdresser, get my nails done, get my feet done, put on my cute clothes, makeup, and then look pretty. That's my job. Your job is to drive and pay. And then if you say it to them like that, then they just, don't know what to say. It's like, well, I don't have no way to get there and this and that. Okay, well, I guess we ain't going then. We call somebody else. That would be me. I'm not, it's okay. I have this night free. Either I spend it with you or I spend it with somebody else, but I'm not staying at home. That's just the bottom line. So, and you just have to let him know. So, I mean, he could borrow a car, he could rent one, he could, go down to the little car rental place and you get them weekend rates. They let you rent the whole car for like $40 for the whole weekend, plus mileage. Or sometimes no mileage, you just bring the tank back full. You know what I mean? But you had a car for 48 hours for some little flat Mickey Mouse flat rate. And so, there's all kind of options here. He borrow his mama's car. He can do whatever he need to do, but we ain't taking mine. And that's all you got to say. Because they just want you to just, to guide them and help them. Okay, let me just tell y'all this little side story. Okay, so where was I? I think it was on my wall, as a matter of fact. And I was having an exchange with this guy. This was a couple of years ago, and he was talking about, well, you women know everything, and you say that we're not leaders. Well, then you teach us. This is what he said to me. I must have stared at that for the longest time, and then I said, okay, do I crack his face? Do I rip him a new one? What do I do with this? Because it was just so tempting to just put on my clown nose and just act a complete fool. But I said, okay, look at this guy. He looks like he's about 21. He's just young and silly. And so I wrote him back and I said, so did you grow up with your dad or not? He said, no. I said, so what kind of male role models did you have around you? And he's like, nobody really. And so then I calmed down because I said, okay, well, I could see that he's asking because he really is curious. He honestly does not know. So I told him, that what was the deal. But it's like, you can't tell a woman to teach you to lead. Leadership is a role that you assume because you have certain innate qualities, knowledge, experience, training, something like that. You are, and the main number one thing is you're willing to be the person where the buck stops here. You are accountable, you are responsible. If you are not prepared to take the heat of any decision that you make, then you are not leadership material and you don't get to lead. And so, I had to break that down for him. It's like, you don't get it just because you have testes, my son. That don't mean nothing. That does not mean anything. Dusties are notorious for having no drive or achievements, no ambition, and for blaming everyone but themselves for their failures. Dusties rely on women for comfort, which basically translates into mothering. For women for respect, they basically mean don't ask them any questions about anything, don't doubt them, don't second guess them, just take whatever crazy stuff that comes out of their mouth at face value and just go roll with it. That's what they mean. Because if you say, well, no, that's not what happened, or, what you say that for, or I think that's not right, or something, then they see that as disrespectful. And they also look to women for support because you're supposed to have my back, you're supposed to lift me up, you're supposed to this and that. So they may live in your house, they use your money, they don't contribute their fair share to the expenses of the household. All kinds of stuff goes on, but basically they're living off of you and using you. This was a long one. These are just this part of it. In case you just wandered in, we're talking about dusty behaviors and attitudes and behaviors that dusties exhibit. Dusty men are easily intimidated by women who have qualities that they lack. They'll try their best to tear down that woman, especially if she doesn't need him in the traditional sense. They fear and despise confident women who know who they are. They have high self esteem, enough to not tolerate their nonsense. They have weak egos and lack a sense of self. Overall, they fail to grow and will never mature enough to take responsibility for their emotions, feelings, or actions. If that's not a loser, I don't know what is. These guys, I mean, you don't even have to be in a relationship with them. You could work with them. You could be on a committee with them, in a community thing. You could be know them from church, school. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be in an intimate relationship with them to experience this kind of envy and lack of confidence. They can't feel like men unless you are weaker, smaller, or more of a failure in their mind than they are. The second that you're at their level or above, then that's when they start talking about you. They want to break you. They want to bring you down, start attacking you. They'll get their friends to come and try to gang up on you. And it's just awful with all kind of stuff. Anything they hit you with everything that they think is going to hurt you. Like, the fact that you're a single mom or you're a certain age or you look, your skin color. That seems to be one that a lot of sisters talk about. um, they talk about your marital status, like if you're not married, or you're not even in a relationship, that somehow that means that, since no man has chosen you, that you're unworthy or something. So they pull out, they start talking about cats and living alone. I mean, they have like these things they just lob at you, bam, 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 to try to hurt you because they can sense that you're confident and you don't need them. You don't care whether they live or die. You don't give them a second glance. They ain't nothing to you, and they can't stand that. They need to be recognized and, to feel like they're important enough that women will pay them attention. Dusties look to women for solutions and money. We all know that to be true. They do the bare minimum and never strive to boss up in any situation in life. They complain about gold diggers, but they don't even have $1,000 in the bank. Usually don't have a car either. And they don't have a home of their own either. They're homosexuals or they're living with their mama, grandmother, auntie, something like that. Just bums. Dusties are manipulative, walking contradictions of words and character. What does that mean in translation? That means that shit ain't adding up. So what they say and what actually happens are two completely different things. They're very much known to have a double standard. Well, it's one thing, it's okay for them to have female friends, but you can't have any male friends. It's okay for them to be texting, other women and stuff, but don't you dare have a male friend that you had since you was 3 and you'd be texting him. Oh no, that's disrespectful. You can't do that. He can go hang out with his friends and do all kind of crazy stuff, but the second you try to go somewhere, it's like World War III. So these are things, that you need to watch out for. Yeah, the math ain't mathing. Exactly. These people, these dudes, I don't know. Y'all who go on these dating sites, you just have the patience of saints and you should get medals and awards and all kind of stuff. Just unbelievable. Dusty stay in constant conflict with their baby mamas and try to make zero effort to resolve the issue with court or services. I mentioned this, kind of touched on this before. The guys who say that she won't, quote, let me see my kids. They rather just live in constant chaos than solve the problem in the child's best interest. Try to calm down. Everybody go to their corner, come out, don't punch. Just let's shake hands and let's talk about this. Let's work this out for the sake of the kids. Me and you but don't have to like each other. But one thing we do need to do is be, some kind of like partnership where we raise this kid or these children in a way that mitigates the damage done to them. But no, they don't care about that. They just be swinging and cussing and acting a zip damn fool, and a lot of times right around the children or over the children. And this one, they're always comparing themselves to and competing with women. This is a big one lately, which I tell you, I was talking about this with my uncle. He's what, 70, or he's almost 80 years old. And I was telling him how, these guys do. And he just was looking at me so confused. He's like, what kind of men are these? I'm like, oh, God, don't know. I don't know. I just can't figure it out myself. And he was looking just heck of confused. It's like, they don't make men like they used to. I told them they sure don't. Or they just got out of prison. Okay, now these ladies, there's, somebody was telling me about a page on Facebook where these are women who are like married to and dating guys that are in prison. They're still in prison like right now. Some of them met the guys while they were already locked up. So it wasn't a situation like, you're married and your husband did something or they accuse him of doing something if he didn't really do it and he has to do some time behind bars. Well, that's a little different situation than somebody who looks on prisonbabes.com and then picks, I like him. He's handsome. Okay, never mind the fact that he's in prison for 20 years. What do you do? And you want to go up there and get married to him and have visits and all kind of stuff be going on and you with a convict. Okay, then he gets paroled. What's he going to do? He's been locked up for 15 years. He don't have no job skills because he wasted his time while he was in prison. He didn't get a GED or take college courses or anything like that. He was just being stupid, lifting weights and messing around. So now he comes out, he has no job prospects. He's going to be living with you and you're going to be taking care of him. And so to me, it's like, what in the world are these women thinking? How low is your self-esteem that you feel like this is the best that you could do? This the only kind of dude that you qualify to get? But Tiger Lily, the problem is with a woman like this, you say stay high value. These women are not high value. They even if they think somebody tells them they are, they don't think that they are. And you have to kind of question it. If you are a woman who selects these kind of dudes who to me are at the bottom of the social uh, pyramid, okay, because they're at the bottom, the very, very bottom, and this is who you choose to be with, then there's nothing about you as a woman that is high value. High value people don't mess around with people who are at the bottom. That's just, I know this may sound harsh and people gonna get upset, but do I ever care about people getting upset? When has that ever happened? When have you, since all the years y'all been knowing me, 30 years, some of you, 25, whatever, that was originally on Ask Heartbeat. When have I ever not said what I wanted to say, thinking about how it's going to hurt somebody's feelings? I don't care. It's the truth. Okay? High value women and men do not mess with people at the bottom. They don't in any way, shape, or form. So any woman who's doing that is not high value. Okay? I don't care what education she has, what kind of job she has. She might be well employed and well educated, but she's not high value even with those things. Okay? That's not a high value person. And then you got these old gray-headed dusties. They be like, okay, sagging, blasting hip hop music, trying to date real young girls, wearing all the latest stuff, which, used to be Sean John. I don't know who the designers are these days. And, so they used to be spending all this money buying all them outfits and stuff and, just trying to dress young. And you in your 60s and 70s, go sit down somewhere. Oh, grandpas, gray-headed and stuff, can barely walk. Be walking all slow, trying to play it off like it's like a pimp walk, but it's not. It's just a crutch walk. That's what you got. You need to be using a cane. You can move faster. Oh, knucklehead. Oh, my God. This is one of my best traits. I do, too. Because one thing is like, people, you talking to me, I'm never, ever, ever going to BS you. Unless that's my goal. But if I'm talking to somebody, we having a conversation, I'm going to just tell you the truth. Now, it's like a situation where, something, well, anyway, we all do our little crook stuff. In a situation like that, I will BS you. But I don't do that here. That's in my private life. You guys will never see that. But, I'm going to just tell you the reality of what's going on. The entitled attitude that Dusties have is what makes a Dusty, she says. And another one says, well, Dusty really think that their little dusty peen is some sort of currency. Nope. That thing will lead you to instant poverty. And that's true because they be making baby after baby after baby with miscellaneous random stray people. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why would you do that? And they really, and unfortunately, they think it's some kind of currency. You know why they think it's some currency? Because some women are so desperate for attention and for a man that they let the dusties, they exchange dusty peen for some place to live and food in his stomach and sometimes a car to drive, gas and clothes and everything. So that's where they got that thought from. These kind of crazy women that let that go on. They, any dude, I'm telling you, I don't even let them come to my house and eat. You can't eat a meal, even if I invited you. Like the dude was supposed to bring the bottle of wine. That's when I still drink a lot of wine. You didn't bring my wine. You don't get no food. No, that was part of the deal, sir. You didn't hold up your end of the bargain, so I don't have to hold up mine neither. That's just the way it is. So yeah, he tried to pull a dusty stunt. Got his butt tossed out hungry. Not feeding you. And then the attitude. Dusties, ooh, they have such entitled attitudes and this attitude of superiority or something that's based on nothing. Because you're like, dude, I mean, really? You're at the bottom of the social ladder, okay, if not underneath the ladder. There's nothing about you that is going to be beneficial to anybody. You don't even benefit yourself. You're a loser, sir. And so then they sit up there and trying to, act like somebody should be happy to be with them. Or I don't know what they'd be thinking, to tell you the truth. But this lady who wrote this comment said, there was low vibration. They have a defeatist attitude, that the glass is half empty because they're always so pessimistic about everything. But you have to think about it. If you know that you're useless and a loser, of course you're going to be a defeatist. And of course you're going to have a glass half empty attitude because you know that you're not ever going to fill it up. Because why? Because you're a dusty loser. It's and then you have the women, right? You get this guy, he's like all defeated attitude, and you got this loser mentality. And here you go, like pulling out your pom poms and jumping around like you a cheerleader or something, trying to get him to do what he needs to do and be the man he needs to be. You could be putting that energy to use for yourself or your children. Okay, not some grown man. Leave him to be whatever he is. You leave him over there. I'm like, and they be like, rah, 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 sis, boom, bah. You can do it. You can do it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can do it. You can do it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And just trying to cheer him on and stuff. And the dude is like, he's never going to be more than what he is. Men have to be motivated by themselves, honey. Nothing you do or say is going to make him get off his butt and be anything, do anything. He has to decide that. Okay. So, they're shallow, they're self-absorbed, they have very poor work habits, call out from work whenever they get ready, be getting written up all the time for half doing stuff, be doing herbalicious at work, all kind of crazy stuff to get themselves written up and or fired. They lack any kind of spiritual depth. They don't have any goals. They have very poor money management habits. They're into the rap culture, and that's when that language that we talked about earlier comes out. They have a very poor connection with their family, usually. Some acrimony between him and his siblings or him and his parents. They tend to eat a very unhealthy diet full of fast food, processed food, fried, greasy stuff, that kind of stuff. Cheap food, too. They have bad grooming generally. They might do their hair. Some of them, they really seem to be like into their hair. But, their clothes will be something that's just kind of dirty, got, they wore it for 2 days or something, got a little smell to it. Or they just have a dusty appearance. Don't get it twisted, though. There's some that be dressed to the nines. They got the matching jerseys, the matching shoes, the matching baseball cap. And so they be clean. But they're just as dusty as everybody else. So don't get it twisted. An outfit does not make you not be dusty. Dusties penny pinch and have a stingy spirit. You know why? Because they're broke. But, my thing is, if you have a man who's got a stingy spirit, he's going to be stingy not only with his money and his time, what he invests in you, he's also going to be stingy with his emotions. So you're going to be constantly begging for him to show you something or tell you that he loves you or how he feels about your stuff. It's not going to happen. They don't know how to fix anything, they don't know how to build anything, but they constantly complaining about how women aren't being raised to be wives anymore. They have all kind of dependencies and addictions, and most Dusties are broken men and emotionally unavailable anyway. So I don't even understand why women be putting all that energy into that struggle love with them. One lady says that the Dusty with his pants hanging down is the number one sign. The other lady said, nope, the number one sign is when they ask you what you bring to the table. And this one is like, I appreciated this one because they steal content and then they claim it's their own. That happens to me all the time. Dusties have no integrity. They take no accountability for their actions. They can't stand on their own 2 feet. They don't know how to problem solve. They're always looking for somebody else to fix their problems for them. Looks to women to rescue him after he screws up. This lady says they don't be helping with the shopping, the cooking, or the dishes, but they sure do be up at the table eating. I don't know, little Tiger Lily. Some of them, that's all they do have is a stroke game. So I can't agree with you on that. That's how they find a place to live, and that's how they get to eat, and that's how they get new clothes and stuff, is because of that. That's all they do have. So I can't really agree with that. Let's see, how do I log out of here? This thing popped up and now I can't figure out how to get it off my screen. Oh, there we go. Oops. Okay, there we go. It's gone now. My God, that was confusing. Gusties never tell the truth. They even lie. They lie about everything. Did you eat that apple? I had one green apple and now it's gone. No, I don't know what happened to it. Got green stuff between his teeth. And this is the number one thing that I've noticed, and this has been the case for several years. They love to argue with women online. They will come in like when a bunch of women are having a discussion, right? They want to derail the conversation to start turning it around to talk about whatever, some random thing that they want to talk about. And then so many women are so dumb, they don't even know the game. And so then they start answering him and responding to him and get off the track of what they were talking about. When I'm in a situation and that starts happening, I always remind women not to feed the troll. Don't pay attention to them. Stay on track. Stay doing what you want to do. The number one thing that narcissists hate is not getting attention. So when you deny them your attention, they go away because there's nothing, they aren't getting anything. But you ladies who want to respond to them and answer their questions and try to get into a debate with them and explain to them and stuff, you need to stop. Okay, recognize the game. They do this with a reason, and it's designed to get you to see how much mind control you have. And every one of you who responds in those kind of situations are showing them that you're silly and that you don't have any mind control. You just, you the bright shiny thing in the room. There you go. Oh, look, and then they're off and running. You go instead of staying on track and focused on what you're supposed to be focused on, which is yourself. Okay. Ooh, man, they just wear me out with that. Whew. Got 11 kids by umpteen different women. Sometimes it's like they got their own little United Nations because the mamas are different nationalities or races or whatever. It's just crazy. So all these different kids. And then, the kids don't even necessarily know each other. So there's always the risk they're going to go to high school, which, pulls from a greater area of the city than like a little elementary school, which is that's that neighborhood. So here they're going to be in one of the 3 high schools in the whole city, right? The chances of them running into somebody who's a half sibling is very high. They won't even know they're related to this person because they might, like I said, the mother might be a different race. So there's no way they would make that connection. And then suddenly your kids is dating and didn't have no reason even to know that they were related. It happens all the time. And then as we wind down to our list, start closing up with our list of things that Dusties do, or, experience their attitudes and behaviors. That's what we're talking about. They have bad personal hygiene, poor social etiquette, bad table manners. They don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean, so they say. They play video games all day or they play on their phone all day. And if they have a job, They've been working the same little low-paying Mickey Mouse job forever because they just are just not motivated to try to be more and do more, be greater. It's too much work. It's too hard. You know, they just be satisfied with where they are. And for a woman who's a go-getter type, that's the kind of dude that she's not going to work with her because he's complacent. And a woman who's trying to strive to be greater is going to look at him and feel like he's just dead weight. So these are all things that you need to think about, ladies. Not to mention the fact that they're not reliable. And when you got a man who's silly like that, the stories that we share, like I share stories about how my dad used to talk to us and share wisdom with us and tips on life and, things about people and insight and strategies. I mean, all that kind of stuff. Your dusty man that you decided to have a kid with is so incapable of doing that. Your kids are going to be at a disadvantage, and they're going to be that way because you chose an idiot to have a baby with. What you do that for? All these men on the planet, you could have even went to a bank and the little bank things and got you a man to have a kid by since you was gonna be a single parent anyway. Get what y'all doing? You've been having a baby by somebody who's useless and toxic, and then you sit up there and wonder, oh no, what happened? And this one, I thought this was funny. She said that English is the only language he knows because they don't want to travel. And they can't even speak that coherently. Because, they'd be like all mumbly mouth. No, I'm saying, no, I'm saying, no, I'm saying. No, I don't. Can you enunciate, please? No, I'm saying. Yeah, because oh my God, it just, and y'all be talking to him. Y'all be talking to him on the phone, listening to that mumbly mouth conversation they be having about nothing. And you want to stay on the phone for hours. What are you doing? You could have made money in that time. Oh, and this is another one. They keep talking about how some woman in the past done him wrong, and the one before her, and the one before her, and the one before her, back to when he was in 7th grade. They're gonna go back that far and use that hurt as a reason why he can't give you the relationship that you want. And you ladies, instead of saying, oh, well, you all kinds of messed up, let me just deuce out on this, you instead roll up your sleeves and you see it as a challenge. You put your Nurse Ratched hat on and you're going to try to heal him and mend him and fix his little broken spirit. So you start giving, doing, just running around doing all kinds of stuff for him instead of just realizing that this is a broken egg. And when you have a broken egg, you're supposed to throw it in the trash. Or better yet, down the garbage disposal. Because they do start stinking after a minute. You got to take them out the trash right away. So I just like to put them down the garbage disposal, shell and all. I'm not doing that. I can't. I don't know. I just don't have that kind of energy. If I had energy and I'm giving it to people like this, in these kind of situations, I would not be able to write any books. I would not be able to do all the scripting and editing and all the stuff that I do for this channel. I would not be able to keep myself in shape and rehab. Had the time to rehab myself after my injuries, the car accident, and then falling down them stairs like a couple of months later. I've been fucked up for 2 years now. But I'm finally, it's finally getting back to normal. But I mean, the work and the energy and the pain I had to go through to be able to walk again without, using assistance. I've been going through it. So, but all of that took energy that if I wasn't devoted to giving it to myself, giving it to some man, some knucklehead like this, oh, not happening, Captain. Not happening. Oh yes, and they always want to, they want to try to date. They want to date, and they want to convince you that you need to build with them. They want a woman who's going to build with me, but they're broke. Not only they're broke, they usually don't have no education, no kind of, prospects either. It's some vague idea of, oh, I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna start a business, but you don't have no money. How you gonna start a business? And you don't even know what you're doing. You don't have no education in business. What are you talking about? They even be talking this trash in their 40s and 50s. I can attest to that. Okay. They, will take dinners and gifts and trips and stuff with you if you ask, but they make it very clear that they don't have any money. They're not going to contribute. It's going to be all on you. And some of you will say, okay, and you do it because you're that desperate to go with him. I don't understand that. His butt will be, I'll be sending him, like, what they call it, Duo. Where you scan this Duo. I think they call it FaceTime on Apple products, but it's the same thing. And you talk and you say, look at the beautiful ocean, and you show them the ocean, and look at these fish, and look at the trees, it's so pretty, and look at this view. And that would be as close as he got to my vacation. He would not be on it with me, not with no money. Mm-mm. Hoteps, all hoteps are dusty, all of them, okay. Now the sisters be in there, and they, like I said in one other video, they be talking in that special voice, all whispery and shit. Oh, yes, my sister. Oh, Shay. And all that kind of stuff. It's like, girl, put some bass in your voice and stand up straight and take that rag off your head. What you doing? You just look a mess. Stop it. So, they got the women all into that thing, and then here they come. I want to talk about, somebody need to be submitting to them and stuff. But, you don't have no labor, leadership skills and stuff. Who's going to submit to you? Why would they do that? Submit to what? Dust? You know what I'm talking about. Dusties want to be treated like kings, but they don't have no kingdom. They don't have no riches. They don't have nothing. They don't even have a house of their own, a pot to piss in, as my daddy used to say. A window to throw it out of. Nothing, because it's not their house. They be, just like couch surfing or whatever. And then they want to be the pickiest ever, talking about, well, I need, she too fat, she too ugly, she too short, she too whatever. And it's like, you do realize that you don't even have a high school diploma, or maybe that's all you got. You not working, or you got some little Mickey Mouse minimum wage job, and you have the gall, the unmitigated gall, to try to be picky and have all kind of high standard. You need to be happy if somebody even looks at you, clown. That's what you need to be. My goodness. And I think this is the last one. So bottom line, ladies, you young ladies listening to this, a lot of you are still in your 20s. We did that age survey thing a couple of weeks ago. But you got a guy who's doing any of the stuff that we talked about tonight, any of this kind of stuff. And he's at or around 30 years old, anywhere between, say, 26 and 34. And he's A, still living with his parents. B, don't have no money, no job. Ain't looking for one either. C, spends all his free time playing video games, and he's not a gamer like professionally, like working for, what's that? There's a game company where they be developing games, and there's people, they pay people to test them and stuff like that. He ain't in that kind of situation. Then he's just wasting hours and hours and hours of his life playing video games. He's not paying attention to you. He's not paying attention to any children that you have. He's not paying attention to your marriage. He's not paying attention to his parents. He's not reading any books to learn anything. He's doing nothing to better himself as a man. He's doing nothing to better your relationship. He's doing nothing to better his children. He is escaping into a video game, a false world of pretend. That is the same thing they do with popcorn. It's the same mentality. It's escapism. The same thing they do with various kinds of dependencies. It's escapism. What you need is a man who's going to be 100% there. 100%. 100% of the time. Okay? Yeah, he can relax and play, video games sometimes. You can relax and, go to a spa or whatever. It's ideally y'all would go to a spa and play video games together sometimes. But, if you have children, you have a family, you have a marriage that needs tending to. He should not be escaping. You should not. That's a no. That you can't do that. This is just not right. So before you leave, make sure you hit that subscription button, young people. I would appreciate that. And yeah, that's our slideshow for today on Dusties. Now, anybody want to share a story about something that happened with them in the Dusty? Oops. Dang, Onyx. I sounded getting all kind of beauty sleep. Okay, let me paste this in here. If anyone has a last comment you'd like to make about a Dusty in your life, a story that you'd like to share about something that Dusty did or someone that you ran into that had a Dusty attitude, now is the time. We will be back tomorrow, though. I'm going to be doing 3 live streams this week. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. Tomorrow's What the Fuck Tuesday. So, that's our usual. And then on Friday is the $8, Get Your Advice Right Now show that people have been asking for. So we'll be doing that on Friday. So I'm going to see you guys Monday night, which wasn't planned, Tuesday night, which was planned, and Friday night, which also was planned. And so then we'll be like almost halfway through February already. That's pretty good. I can't believe it. It's like, wow. So I guess if no one has any questions, that's all right. But in the meantime, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share, please. Just share any video. Doesn't have to be this one. And we'll be back tomorrow with What the Fuck Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, I think that's Tim Grimes coming in talking, and then we'll be talking about whatever topic he's supposed to be talking about. Okay, but we'll be back tomorrow. So you guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.